but just helping people on a daily.
Yeah.
You know, just yesterday I gave a person a ride. They needed a ride. A young lady was working with a gentleman who had some disabilities, and they needed to get to their doctor's office. You know what I'm saying? And he couldn't walk that far. You know, and she was like, man, we thought it was a bus.
Yeah.
Wasn't no bus, ain't no bus coming.
Yeah.
But we need to get there. You know, would you mind dropping us off? I didn't know them. You know what I'm saying? But that's my heart, to help people anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm like, yeah, I got you. You know, and dropped them off, and they were, you know, appreciative or whatever. But even if they weren't appreciative, it was for me. You know, it was for them, but it was for me too. Yeah. You know, because that's my heart, to help people however I can. And so, you know, that's what I do. However I can help anybody,
I love it.
You know, that's what I do. And I was having a conversation with somebody today, and I was saying that I don't want money to be a factor in how I help anybody. You know, so that's one of my driving factors of being successful, because I don't want money to be a problem. You know, because there's a lot of people that needs a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? If I'm just thinking about me, I'm good. You know what I mean? I can, with what I do on a day-to-day basis and the money I make, I can be comfortable and live comfortable if I'm just worried about me.
Right.
But I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I know there's a lot of people that I'm coming in contact with. There's a lot of people that I'm already in contact with that I can be a blessing to. And I don't want finances to be the thing that stop me from being a blessing to whoever it is that I come in contact with. So yeah, I'm trying to get that money.
That makes sense.
But it's not just for me.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, man, that was beautiful right there. That was that whole that audio experience I was telling you about. Like, I'm trying to push that next fold. I only recorded audio on this portion right here. I got the camera going now because I was having some issues. Like I said, these are streaming cameras, so they're kind of weird. The Mevos, because they're connected with the internet, so they've been kind of weird. But I got my camera going. So I'll start from the beginning. I'll do the intro, then we'll kind of go from there and get that going. I'm gonna stop that, and then I'm gonna re-record on that one. I might do the same on this one. Nah, I'm all good. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Dre with the Supadre podcast. I appreciate everybody for tapping in and showing some love. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button right down there somewhere, wherever it is, and hit the ding up there so y'all don't miss anything that we're doing. If you didn't know, we got a Patreon, man. We got a Supadre Patreon. Right. So people on the highest tier on the Patreon, they get a book every month. We got a book club in the Patreon. So we trying to grow a community, but we trying to grow mentally, you know, and in all kind of ways, you know. So I've been getting into reading books. I'm in morning meetups, so we be reading books in there. So trying to give something back to the community and build a community of like-minded individuals. We're trying to get to the same place. So make sure y'all join the Patreon and get your free book when you join the super fan tier. And we'll be doing a Discord pretty soon, just to get some new knowledge in there. Maybe, you know, have some people that talk about real estate or whatever, you know, just some new knowledge, man. But enough about me, man. We're gonna get into the episode. I got a very special guest on today. I'm getting all close to the mic because I'm super excited because I ain't even got to get that close to the mic. But I'm gonna chill out, y'all. Man, I got somebody great on the show today. I think we met up in the very first Launcher Podcast Challenge. Shout out to Dave Shantz, man. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for bringing us together, man. I've been linking up with everybody for the Podcast Challenge, man. I'm telling you, man.
I took it twice.
Man, you did? That's what I thought. I know you did. I was thinking about doing it again. But I was like, nah. I was like, maybe I'm good. I think I can do it. I should have did it again.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even do it for the information the second time. Yeah. I did it for the community.
That's exactly what I was going to do. Let me connect with some more people, because this is more people. We were kind of in there already, so maybe they had questions and we can kind of help them in the community that we had already had on Facebook and things like that. So man, it's been real great to kind of link up with everybody from there. Without further ado, guys, I got the one, the only man of the year, father of the year. He is in the house, host of the Deal to Heal podcast. I got Ernest James in the house. What's good, sir?
What's good?
Yes, man. Sir. I appreciate you for pulling up to me. you got your daughter on the other side. I know I can't see her, but I'm glad you guys are here today, taking the time out of your day to spend it with me and learning how to be some superheroes today.
Right.
So how your day's been going pretty good?
Day's been going good, man. I was relaxing and got outside. You know, we in Texas now, but I'm coming from Chicago, and the weather's bipolar right now.
You ain't done it. I can't go up there high. Gotta stay in Texas. Gotta stay.
So it's getting good though. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's getting to the summer. So
That's
once we
what's
start
up.
getting into the summer, then you get the hot
Yeah,
weather.
I heard it's
now,
hot in Chicago. Like how?
In the
like
summer it gets hot.
Like how hot? Like concrete beaming off.
We didn't hit 100 a couple days. You know what I'm saying? Generally, it's around 80s, 70s, 80s.
That's not that bad. That's not that bad.
No, it's good. It's good. But it's what the bipolar comes in like right now, because like the other day it snowed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's like, dude, we almost in May. We ain't supposed to be seeing no snow, but it goes like that from
That's
day to
crazy.
day. You might have one day it's like 90 degrees, everybody outside like, the next day it'd be like 50.
Wow.
You know?
That sounds like Texas too. That sounds like just without the extra snow and all that. That sounds like you got to dress for all four weathers in one day.
Right.
You got to do it. You got to do it, man. I'm glad you're on the show. Real quick, let the people know a little bit about you, where you're from. Even though you say you're from Chicago, let people know a little bit about you.
Well, let me start by saying I am Ernest James. I am the host of the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Make sure you put that E. James on there.
E.
There is
James.
some other podcasts that's called Deal to Heal, but I am the host of the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast.
Okay.
And on that podcast, my guest and I discuss topics and ways to help us to heal in every area of our lives. Because I believe that everyone should live a life that is whole, healthy, and healed. And so my mission is to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill, like my shirt say.
Yeah.
Deal with your problems, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose.
Yeah.
And I believe that when we heal ourselves, then we can heal our families heal our community, and our community heal our world.
Yeah.
And so that's my whole vision, is to bring healing wherever I go. On whatever area that I can think of, or if it's not something that I'm knowledgeable of, then that's where my guests come from. If it may be something that I'm not familiar with, I reach out to someone who is, say, hey, if we're dealing with, life after divorce, let me bring on this coach or this teacher or whoever who can talk to my audience about, getting through that. You know what I'm saying? And so, so that's my whole platform, just bringing healing and love, man, and hope to my audience, and that's what I do.
Man, y'all heard that? Cause y'all know what we about here at Supadre, man. We trying to become our super self, man. We trying to get better each and every day, and that's literally what everybody's trying to do. You want to be able to deal with those issues, work them out, and heal from those. You don't want to be sitting on all that negative energy.
Right.
And there's people out there that you can talk to, you can talk it out with. And I'm glad you have that platform to be able to bring people on and be able to do that for the community. So I appreciate that. You have something?
No, I was just going to say, it's like we mentioned even about where we met, which was in Dave's the podcast group, but it just meeting those different people with different minds, yet still a like-mindedness in the sense of that they have a message that they're trying to get out. Everybody's message is not the same. We all have different things, but on some levels we all connect. And some ideas we all connect, and some ideas we all think are the same. In that way, so we're able to connect on those things. And I just think it's cool, man. The whole podcasting space, to be able to get your viewpoint out and get your ideas out, and then have the conversations, because that's a big thing with me growing up, being shy and quiet and kind of reserved. I had a lot of ideas and a lot of opinions and a lot of conversations that I wanted to have, but I have nobody to talk to them about. Because even my friends and my brothers and my family that's around my age, they won't know what I was on.
Yeah.
I was a little more mature for my age, so I think I was a couple years ahead of the pack. In maturity. And so, by the time I was 21, I had I wasn't married yet, but I was getting close to being married. But let's say 25. By the time I was 25, I had a house, I had a car, I had a good job, I was married. You know what I'm saying? And by the time I was, 25 with the guys I grew up with, they were just getting started. You know what I'm saying? They were just now starting to say, oh, okay, let me start growing up. You know what I'm saying? So we had been out of high school and stuff by that time, you know. So it just had these ideas and these conversations, mature conversations and thought-provoking, you know, conversations that I wanted to have, but I didn't have nobody to talk to about them, you know, so I kind of kept them in. So, you know, with this podcasting space, I'm able to have the conversations that I want to have with, you know, people from different backgrounds, different demographics, you know, and just different ideas that grew up different ways, man. And we're able to have these conversations that, you know, generally I wouldn't have, you know what I'm saying? And I love it, man.
What would you say to somebody that's out there, like they maybe they were in that same situation, probably about 25, they may see that some of their peers are on a different level and they're like, man, now I need to start getting on that next level, but I don't know where to start. Besides starting a podcast, like how could those guys get to that next level where like just bettering themselves, putting themselves in a better group of people, getting around the right people? What would you say about that?
Well, the first thing I will say, before you start looking for better people, you have to become a better person. Because a better person will draw better people, right? So when I started on my journey a couple of years ago, I started looking into motivation, right? So I was just at a place, I'm like, you know what? I want to do something different, but I want to be motivated. I need to be motivated. And so I started looking on YouTube for motivational videos. And in the midst of not only finding motivational videos, I started finding motivational people and different people who was on the things that I was on, which is how I came across David Shands. You know, even before I had even thought about doing a podcast, but I came across him because he was in that space of speaking and things of that nature. And so when I started growing personally, then that kind of information I started seeing it, because it's like the information is around you all the time.
Oh yeah.
Right? So if you have the experience, you're still a little younger, but you may have had this experience when you go out and you buy your first car, right? And you're like, man, I see this car, I like it. But then after you see it and after you buy it, now you see it all the time. You see everybody driving that same car. Well, they've been driving it. You know what I'm saying? But you weren't paying attention to it. And so it's that same way with what you want to become. You know, when you start being around more positive people, more positive thinking people, more motivational people, and you start putting that in your spirit, you're going to draw it because it's out here. It's out here. But once you start paying attention to that's what you're looking for, then your eyes start picking it up, and you'll start being drawn to more you know, mature people. You'll start being drawn to a better crowd. And you got to not be afraid to grow, right? Because one of the things that sometimes holds us back is we want to go to the next level, but we don't want to lose the people that's on the lower level. Well, you can't take everybody with you. You know, and so you don't have to push them away. Just grow. Because as you grow higher, either they're gonna start growing too, or they're going to stay on the same level and you just going to outgrow them.
That's
so crazy. You don't have to let them go. You ain't got to be like, oh, no, I'm better than you or nothing like that. Just continue your journey. And they're going to see you as you grow. And they have to make up their mind whether they want to grow with you or whether they want to stay on the level that they're on. And if they decide to stay on the level that they're on, that's their decision. But don't let that stop you, because guess what? It's other people on that next level. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to worry about being alone. And that's like my thing. One of the reasons why I love helping people, even in business or whatever, because I don't want to be the only successful person. You know, so even with my friends and family and people that I'm directly connected to, I'm always trying to tell them something or you know, share any kind of knowledge or whatever that I have, because I don't want to be the only successful one, right? So if you look at some of the people that's in entertainment, you know, you got basketball players and movie stars and all this, and a lot of times it's like one person per family. So you got this one mega huge star, but he's the only one out of his whole family. You know what I'm saying? So you mean to tell me you're talented, but there's nobody else in your family that's talented? There's nobody else that could have been a part of that journey. You know, maybe you were the first one, but you shouldn't be the only one. And that's how I feel. You know, I may be the first one, second, third, wherever I am in that lineup of my friends, family, and people that I'm in contact with, whatever number I am, but I'm not going to be the only one. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not going to be the only one for the act of not trying to bring somebody else along. If they decide to come, or they decide not to, take that journey, that's on them.
Right.
But it won't be because I held the information, or I withheld the knowledge or whatever, or the opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing, just to reach out to everybody, because I don't want to be successful by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't mind being by myself because I've always been a loner. But when I think about things that I want to do and trips I want to take and things I want to experience, in my mind, there's somebody beside me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go to the top of the mountain and be like, man, look at this view, and turn around and I'm going
somebody.
You know what I'm saying? But I want to be like, look at this view, and the person next to me say, yeah, we got here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether we got here together or on our own journey, but we both got here. Mm-hmm. And so that's my viewpoint, man.
Two things.
I want everybody to make it to the top.
Two things. I struggle with trying to bring other people up with me. And I struggle a lot. Because I'm like, man, and I'll get mad at, I'll just get real frustrated. I'm like, man, why the homie don't want to come up? Like, why you don't want to take this opportunity? Why you want to, we're in two different atmospheres when it comes to like our life, our lifestyle, stuff like that. Like, he has kids and stuff like that. I don't have kids. I move a lot freely than most people because I don't have kids, and I live from this studio. I stay right down the street. So I walk here, stuff like that. So I'm able to move different, but there was still that thing of like, man, like, why are you settling? Why are you not wanting to get to that next level, especially for your kids? Because if it was me, I would want to do all I can to be, to get to the next level for my kids. The second thing, and I really struggle with that first part. The second thing is people go broke, like when it comes to like having kids, and like people go broke for their kids, but won't get richer out of that situation for their kids. And I see that a lot. They'll go out and buy them the new shoes and the PlayStation 5s and all this kind of stuff, but they won't get out of debt for their kids. They won't, they don't have that why that's really going to push them to that next level. And you seeing, like, for me, I see the way I grew up and the way, like, my grandmother, I'm only second generation Texas. My family's from Mississippi, Louisiana. Being able to see what my grandmother did for our family, being able to come here, provide for the family, stuff like that. And I want to be able to give back, and I want other people to be able to see that and be like, man, like, she actually did that, and let's, kind of do something because for my grandmother, her having her own house and being married and having kids, that was something like a next level for them. Coming from Mississippi was one of the poorest states in the country. So for her, that was that next thing, almost like the American dream type thing. And you want to instill that in the next person, and for them to be like, okay, well, I want to do the same thing. Positivity. It's just crazy to me that nobody would want to get out of the situation they're in so bad, but want the things that they want now, and don't want to put the work in for it and all that kind of stuff. I just have an issue with that. Speak to me about that.
Well, that's it right there. Because you mentioned a few minutes ago that some people don't have the why to press them to get to the next level. They got it. Because if you got kids, you got it. You know what I'm saying? That you birthed that why. You know what I'm saying? But it's not that they don't have it. People don't want to do the work. It's easier to dress it up. It's easier to buy some Jordans and some nice clothes or whatever, and make it look like you putting your kids on the next level, like your kids is doing. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to look like it than it is to actually do it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't want to work. They don't want to put in the work that it takes to really take their family to the next level. You know what I'm saying? And so it's easier for me to dress it up. It's easier for me to work to get some nice clothes, nice shoes, nice car, but I'm still living in the projects. You know what I'm saying? It's easier for me to go to the beach in my new car and take pictures like I'm living it up, and then go back to the projects. You know what I'm saying? Because in order for me to get out of the project, it's going to take some actual work. So it's easier for me to look like it. It's easier for me to take pictures and put it on Instagram and make it look like I'm on the next level than it is for me to actually do the work to get to the next level. So that's one thing. A lot of people don't want to do the work. The other thing is, some people just are comfortable where they at. So I remember listening to I think it was on Dave. I was listening to one of Dave's podcast on social proof, and I think the gentleman was a real estate guy.
Okay.
And he was telling his story. He was telling his story how it was him and his girlfriend, and he had this big old house, and it was just them two, and he wanted to rent the rooms out, the extra rooms, and she wasn't really going for it.
I think I know it. It ain't kicked to the curb.
Yeah, right. He didn't really kick her to the curb. She kicked herself to the curb, because what happened was when he started renting the rooms out, she didn't really like it, and then he had a conversation with her, and he said, "Do you want to be rich or do you want to be poor?" And she said, "I'm comfortable being poor." You know what I'm saying? And then he had to let her go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he didn't kick her out. She volunteered. You know what I'm saying? She volunteered to stay on that level. You know what I mean? And so that's some people's story. They don't want to go to the next level because they're comfortable
at the
level. It's definitely unfortunate. It's unfortunate for, like you said, it's unfortunate for you. It's unfortunate for your kids. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't ask to be here. And now that they're here, most people would think that you want to put them in a better position. You know what I'm saying? Then where you're at, you came here and you worked to this part, like you said, with your grandmother to put the family in another position. And then now that the family is on that next level, it's up to you to take it to the next level. And you would think that would be everybody's viewpoint to do that for their family. But if you go to any hood, you know what I'm saying, any projects, any, place where, you know what I'm saying, it may not be as fortunate, some things are more, it's not as fortunate as the next. You will see in those environments that a lot of times they don't teach their kids to be better. They teach them to be just as good on the same level. So you get one family that, maybe the mom had a couple kids, and then she got on welfare, and then she got Section 8, and then she got, these different things and learned how to survive within the system. But they don't teach their kids how to take this and go to the next step. No, I'm going to teach you the same system. So then you have the next generation that's doing the same thing. Now they have kids, and now they're on Section 8. Now they're, you know what I'm saying? And it's that same thing. Instead of teaching them to go to the next level, they teach them how to survive on that same level. And so you have generation after generation that stays in the same thing, Because I remember when I'm originally, like I said, from Chicago. I remember when I went to Gary and ended up helping to start a church in Gary, and some of our members and just some of the people that we came in contact with, had never been to downtown Chicago. The downtown Chicago is only like 30 minutes from Gary. And there's a South Shore train, which is the Metro, that runs from Gary straight to downtown.
Wow.
It's only like $6. You know what I'm saying? You get on the Metro for $6 and go downtown.
Yeah.
I've never been downtown Chicago.
That's crazy.
Never been across the state line, because it's literally Gary, it's Hammond, across the state line. You're in Illinois. Never been across the state line.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of what it is. You know what I mean? And until someone becomes the first person, or someone becomes that one, person in your family that has a vision that's bigger than the block that they live on, and press to get to that vision. And then once they get there, either try to bring somebody else along or give birth to that next generation to take it further, you end up with them same, that same cycle repeating itself over and over again. And, the family being comfortable in the environment that they're in, and nobody never leaves.
Yeah, that's one thing I really want to change. I really want to change that dynamic and just really push the fold. Man, that was some great convo. I hope y'all was taking some notes and had your pen and pads ready out there. I want to get to one of my favorite parts of the show. Everybody's unique, everybody's different. They have something that sticks out to them. Everybody has a superpower. What would you say your superpower is?
Oh, my superpower. Probably that I care. You know what I'm saying? I have a love for people. I love helping people. I think that's my superpower. It's my heart. I work with, I do home health care as one of my jobs.
Okay.
And so I work with people with disabilities and taking care of them. As a pastor and a minister, helping to start a church, you have your people within your ministry that you look over, and try to lead and mentor. I have my family, with my sons and my daughter, trying to lead them and making sure that they take advantage of different opportunities, different things that I've learned along the way. I try to pass that knowledge along, and I think that's my thing. It's just my heart and my heart for people, and I care about people and want to help people.
Yeah,
So
for sure. But with that being said, there's also some super villains out there. People trying to get you down, negative influences, just life itself. Just have you ever had life just slap you straight in the face and just say, take it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So how would you use your superpower to overcome those super villains?
Well, you know what? I'll give you a story, right? And this wasn't my superpower, but it goes back to when we were talking earlier about the people that you attract, right? And so if my superpower is my heart, I'm attracted to people who have the same heart, right? And so when I was in a position where I was so down that I needed somebody who cared about me, it was those people with those same heart that helped to pull me out, right? So years ago, probably been like over 10, 15 years, something like that now. I remember my mother-in-law at the time, who I loved very much, passed away.
Oh, man.
Right, and she passed away from cancer. 3 years after that, my mother passed away from cancer also. And so during that time period, I was really down. I was depressed. Ended up going through a divorce at that time, during that time period. Depression, debt, divorce, the death of my mom.
Yeah, that's
you know
tough.
what I'm saying? I was at rock bottom.
Yeah.
And even to the point that I thought about committing suicide, but when I was at that point, again, it took those people that have that same kind of heart to reach out to me and lift me up from that place that I was at. And so, one of the things I had to do was find something to live for. And my main thing at that point was my daughter, because before then, growing up with my daughter, after having my daughter was always with me, so to the point that, people was like, that's your shadow, so we were always together. And so not only did I lose, my mother-in-law at that time, and then my mother, but she lost both her grandmothers. You know what I'm saying? That was in that same experience. So one of my things was, what would she do now if she lost me too? And so that was one of the things that I had to think about to kind of get myself back into the mind. You have something to live for. You have someone to live for. But even in that space, I still wasn't strong enough to pull myself all the way out. So it took those other people that was around me who had that same heart, who cared about me, that said, okay, we're going to hold your hand during this time period and help to pull you out of that space. And that's what happened. So life itself will smack you, will knock you down. But if you have the best people around you, if you keep good people around you who love you just as much as you love them, then when you go through life, when you get to the point where you get knocked down to your knees, you have somebody that's there to help you, to help pull you up. So
that's amazing. I appreciate you for sharing that. I'm sorry about your loss. Also, that's really tough. I've never lost any of my parents. My girlfriend's lost her dad, and I couldn't imagine being in a position like that. Just even mentally. And I'm glad you got out of that. I'm glad you had people that had that same heart to help you get up out of that. And I'm glad for you to be able to sit here and be able to talk about that. So I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that.
And not to be a downer, not to be a downer, but I remember having this conversation with one of my family members, and they were saying, like, I don't know what I would do if I, lost a parent or if my mom passed or whatever. And I'm like, well, unless you plan on going first, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a reality.
Yeah.
And it's better for you, because they're like, oh, I don't even want to think about it. It's actually better if you think about it, because now you're not caught off guard. Because life is going to be life. And like I said, unless you plan on going first, sooner or later you're going to lose some loved ones. And you have to be we're never 100% ready for that, you know what I'm saying? But you got to be in a space where it's a possibility. And so you're aware that it's a possibility, and you have some kind of direction that if this was to happen tomorrow, what would I do? You know what I'm saying? Emotionally prepared for it, but then financial and things like that. You know, because one of my friends, one of her biggest pet peeves that she always says that she hates when she see the GoFundMe on it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's one thing to say GoFundMe because I'm trying to start this or that or whatever, but when you have a GoFundMe for your you know, one of your family members or somebody, your loved one that passed away, it was like, come on, man. You know, we know it's coming for all of us. We want that day is coming. How you not prepared for it?
Right.
You know, and it's kind of selfish to not prepare for it because
I ain't never thought about it too. I ain't
because
thought about it like that.
Yeah, no, it is because number one, think about the burden that you're leaving on your family.
Oh yeah.
Right. So they already emotionally emotional distraught because you're no longer here. But now you added on to them the financial burden of taking care of your, you know, the things you're supposed to take care of for yourself. You know, because now you're not here, so now you can't do it. So now they got to make the plans. They got to, you know, plan the service. They got, you know, all of those things that you can already have in place. You know what I'm saying? To relieve them of that extra burden when you're no longer here. You know, and a lot of people don't think about it that way.
Yeah.
But you have to, because like I said, unless you plan on being 1,000,000 years old and the last man alive, you know what I'm saying, you're going to leave here. And, you know, you don't want to leave your family in a position, you know, added on to the burden or the emotional stress of not only of you not being here, but now it's the financial. Now it's the, you know, what are you going to do with, you know, the things that you didn't finish taking care of, you know, bills or whatever it is.
Not some life insurance, y'all. Get life insurance. Life insurance is important.
Definitely. And then get life insurance with living benefits, so that it's not just after you die, but they have benefits that you can use while you're still alive. You know, because just by such we mentioned it, you know, my mom passed away from cancer. My mother-in-law at the time passed away from cancer. Before they passed away, that was a process. You know, cancer is a slow killer, unfortunately. There are insurance policies that you're able to use to go toward those services, you know, while you're still here, you're in the hospital or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because the medical bills is another one that'll weigh you down, you know what I'm saying? And so you get that insurance with them life, you know, the living benefits, where if something was to happen, you know, like that, you have an extra income or whatever that you're able to lean on to offset some of the bills and things like that while you're still here. Nice. So again, not leaving that on your family. You know what I'm saying? So
nice. I'm gonna do a cut real quick because I'm gonna put my phone on the charger. I'm still recording because this is crazy. That drains my battery so fast when I'm on it. Oh man, that's yeah. Life insurance is. I didn't know anything about the living thing because I've been getting into that space. I follow some few people that are insurance brokers, and definitely gonna get into that. So make sure y'all was taking y'all some notes because that's something that you guys definitely need. Man, that's beautiful right there. I want to get into another segment now. I don't know if you heard about this one, but this one's called the fire round. Okay, so the fire round, I shoot out one words. So I say like cheese, pickle, and whatever. And then you may say the first. You may go head to head with me. Say the first thing that comes to your head and kind of bow down with me. These words off the top of my head, so don't do me like that. Some people may be like, I'll say responsibility, and they may be like, man, responsibility just really makes me think. And they may go on a whole tangent or a story or something like that. Just whatever comes to your head. I have people do so many different things. So you ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. Juxtaposition.
What is it?
Juxtaposition. I always give people
I don't even know what that is.
I always give people with this word, juxtaposition. I always forget what it means too, but I get everybody with this word.
How you gonna give me a word and you don't even know what it means?
I remember what it was when I was in high school. Oh, wow. I ain't never had that happen before. Look, bloopers in the show, y'all.
Right.
In the show. Okay. I get another word. I always get people with that word. Next word is heal.
Heal. Man, heal. what I think about, first thing come to my mind is heal. So I think of personal healing and stopping the cycle of pain that goes from one generation to the next one. So if I heal from whatever pains that I have, and even some that may have been passed down to me from my father, then I can heal them so I don't pass it down to my daughter or to my sons.
Yeah, that's beautiful right there. Next word is going to be conversation.
Conversation is the transference of knowledge from one person to another. I definitely love having good quality conversations. Like we just talked about insurance, and we talked about family. Definitely having those conversations, life-changing conversations. You know, we can talk about the game. You know, we can talk about basketball, we can talk about football and all that stuff, but what does that really do for your life? You know, and I think that's one problem that a lot of us have. We focus too much on the entertainment of life, you know, and not the education of life, and not what your life is really teaching you that you can pass on to the next person. You know, we focus too much on having fun, you know, then we do putting ourselves and our family in a position where having fun is not a bad thing. You know, where we're able to have fun because we've handled our business. You know, and so that was one thing I always taught my kids: business first. You know, handle your business first, play later, because you're gonna find time to play. There's no person that just works and never play. So you're going to find time to play, but you have to push yourself to work, because if you start playing first, it's hard to push yourself out of play mode to work. But if you work first, then when you do get a chance to play, you enjoy it a little bit more, and you're able to do more. Because I always say, two things you're gonna have: you're gonna either have a lot of money and no time, or you're gonna have a lot of time and no money. So the thing is to be prepared, so when your free time and your free money cross, you're able to take advantage of that time, and then that's when you have your fun.
Work hard, play harder. That's what it is right there. That's what it is right there. Next word is success.
I'm writing a book, and in my book, one of the things I talk about is success, and my definition of success in the book is success. Success is defined by the person in pursuit of it, right? So my idea of success may be different than your idea of success. So what does that mean? What does that look like? You know, so each person has to define what that is for them. You know, one person might say it's about having a lot of money. Okay, cool. That's what success is to you. The next person might be having a good family structure. You know, having a successful a roof over your family's head or whatever. You know, so the success is different for different people. You have to define it, and then once you have to define it, and then you have to reach it for yourself. So that's coming from my upcoming book, Get Off the Floor is what it's called. And just basically is a lot of life lessons that I've learned from being on the floor, because in my life, I've had a couple times in my life where I was on the floor, literally, like laying on a pallet on the floor, you know, and it's at those moments what lessons I learned at those moments. Those highs going up, and then you fall back down and you're on the floor again, but now you got to get back up. So you're learning, what lessons do I learn now? What lessons do I need to know now to go up again? You know, and so I'm working on that. But that's my opening in the book is talk about the definition of success, and that definition is success is defined by the person in pursuit of it. And so you have to figure out what is your definition of success, and then that will give you an idea of what you're trying to reach for.
Yeah, man, success is a journey of itself. You know, and I always bring that word up, and I always normally say, you know, it's different for everybody. Everybody's success is completely different. So, you know, guys, go out there and find what success means to you, and don't let nobody else tell you what it is. Oh man. I got a couple more words and we'll finish that round out. My next word coming out top of my head, trying to figure out what the lottery pick is gonna be. We're gonna go ahead and go with we're gonna go with tragedy.
Tragedy. I remember reading somewhere, and they talked about that I think in the Japanese or Chinese language, there's no word for, I think it's tragedy or failure or something like that. But in their in their word, in their language, there's only the word opportunity, right? And so for every tragedy, if we were to write it out, where it says tragedy, in their language, it would say opportunity, right? And so in every tragedy, there's an opportunity. And it's up to us to look for the opportunity within the tragedy. You know what I mean? So that tragedy is not wasted. I was just listening to somebody else the other day, I can't remember who it was, but they said one of their comments is never waste, I don't think it was, never waste a good tragedy. I don't think it was tragedy, but it was like never waste a good, I'm saying tragedy, but I don't think that was the word that they used, but it's similar.
Okay.
You know, never waste a good tragedy, because like I said, in every tragedy, there's an opportunity. You know, and we have to be aware of the fact that there's an opportunity, so that we don't get so caught up in the tragedy that we miss the opportunity. And for example, when we talk about the pandemic that we're going through right now, within this pandemic, there was a lot of loss, a lot of loved ones lost, a lot of jobs lost, things like that. However, there also was a lot of millionaires that was made, you know, because a lot of people took advantage of the opportunity of a tragedy. You know, some people took we talking about podcasting, we know everybody was at home. Yeah. Right? So there were some people that jumped into the podcasting space and came up because everybody was at home, and so everybody was listening, so they were able to take advantage of that and build a successful business from that. But it came out of that tragedy. So, you know, just having that mindset to, recognize that it's a tragedy, but also recognize that within every tragedy there's an opportunity. And so that we don't miss the opportunity because we're focusing so much on the tragedy.
Yes, man, gems, y'all. I didn't say it. Y'all gotta listen, man. Y'all gotta listen. That's beautiful right there.
I be trying, man. I be trying. That's
I mean, you got some wisdom speaking to me and the people that's listening right now. So I'm just glad to be able to be on this receiving end and listening to it firsthand before everybody get a chance to listen to it. Man, I got one more word. Got one more word for you. Last word is going to be community.
Community. Man, surrounding yourself with like-minded people, right? Surrounding yourself with people that's on that same journey, and even some that's further along on the journey than you are, so that you have those leaders and those mentors, you know, to follow in their footsteps to get you to where you want to be, but also having those people around you that's like-minded, that's on that same journey, so that you don't have to do it alone. You know, life is hard. You know, life is hard just by itself, and if you can do it with like-minded people, people that love you, people that's on that same journey, where you can lift them up today because you might be down tomorrow and need them to lift you up. That's what it's all about. So you definitely want to have that community around you of friends, family, loved ones, and even strangers. You know what I'm saying? So if we think about what I said earlier about helping a young lady, you know, giving them a ride. I don't know them. I know her name. I remember the guy's name. His name was Willie, and her name was, it started with M. I remember that. Monica.
I don't even remember the name.
It started with an M. I want to say maybe it was Monica. So the young lady's name was Monica, and then I remember the gentleman's name. His name was Willie, but I didn't know them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That was my first time coming across them, ever seeing them before. I'm not from Texas. You know what I'm saying? But I was a stranger in their time of need. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to help them. And there's a scripture in the Bible that says, you know, beware of entertaining strangers, because sometimes you entertain angels unaware. You know, so who's to know that maybe those are two angels testing me that, I'm out with my daughter getting something to eat, but am I so busy in my life that I'm too busy to help somebody in need? You know what I mean? And so, you need that community of loved ones, of friends, of mentors, but you need your strangers every now and then to not only to, help you when you might need a stranger hand, but also to be that stranger to help somebody else when they're in need.
That's fire. Hot tamale. That's fire, y'all. That's fire. Man, that was a fire round right there. Man, that was beautiful. I don't think I had nobody go through it like that. Some people mix it up. Some people did one thing. Man, how you feel about that one?
I like it, man. I like things that make me think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I like things that allow me to express myself.
Mm-hmm.
So again, growing up and having these ideas, having these thoughts, and want to have these conversations, you know what I'm saying, besides talking to yourself. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'd like to just be able to have the conversations, man.
Beautiful.
And I don't think I'm definitely not the smartest person, but I do think I have something that's worth sharing. You know what I mean? So to be able to have a conversation with you or whoever, I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hopefully y'all was taking notes. I'm telling y'all, there's some gems in there. Rewind it back if you need to and listen to it, man. Oh man, look, this has been a great conversation. For the ones that's made it this far, man, make sure y'all tap into the exclusive audio portion. We had some good topics in that one. I think that one's about 20 minutes. So make sure y'all check into that. If you made it this far, make sure you tell your friends to go back and listen to it, because maybe they missed it, and maybe they listened to only their favorite part, the superhero thing. I just want to know it's superhero, and they just wanted to be out. But make sure y'all tap into that, man. This was a great conversation. Before we get out of here, there's something you want to get off your chest, like something that you didn't get to say, something that just anything.
Man, listen, like, subscribe, and share. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Make sure you look it up with the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast.
Yes.
Definitely us on YouTube. I'm trying to get my YouTube subscribers up.
Okay.
We gotta
go to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal. After you did it, I was like, why is that not my goal? Yeah. Let me get to 1,000 subscribers too. Right. So make sure y'all subscribe.
Trying to get there, 1,000 subscribers. I'm on definitely have an array of platforms I'm on. I'm on IG, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook. But just trying to get my message out.
Yeah.
Subscribe, like, share.
Yeah.
Definitely subscribe.
Let people know where they can find you on social and the podcast and all that.
Right. So
kind of
on YouTube is Deal to Heal with E. James podcast.
Okay.
On Instagram is Deal to Heal podcast. If you type that in, it'll come up. The full name will come up.
You'll see the shirt.
With E. James podcast.
Shirt.
Right. And so I got the merch too.
Yeah.
Deal to Heal. Okay. On Spotify.
Yeah.
I got 2 ebooks that I just finished. I got one that's finishing up now. Those will be available soon. But if you follow me. My main thing, let me put it this way. Go to YouTube. Follow me on YouTube, Deal to Heal with E. James podcast on YouTube. Definitely subscribe. There, all of my videos, I have extra videos. I have guest appearances from other things that I've done that's on there.
You've been on some webinar, like and then you're in a couple talks, like some webinars or some people invited you on.
I did. I've done 2 already, but we got some more planned. Forgiveness workshop.
That was one of the workshops.
It's a company with a friend of mine that's called Elevate to Thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Where she does these different events on forgiveness and healing. We was able to do that. I did 2 of those. I think we got 2 more planned for this year. For the rest of before the year's out, we got 2 more that we're going to do. And I've had some opportunities coming. And so again, if you follow me on YouTube, you get all the exclusives from the podcast.
Yes,
but then there's a section called guest appearances, and in that section, anything extra that I do, that I have the video to, it's in there too. So.
Awesome. He better have some more subscribers after people are done watching this, man. We got to go to 1,000. We're gonna get to 1,000, and make sure y'all watch at least 30 seconds, because 30 seconds really helps the count go up. Just 30 seconds, if anything, that really helps the views go up. We need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours watched. So we need y'all just to watch a little bit if that's all you can put.
Right, and then the content is good.
The content is good. And this conversation is stuff that y'all, like, everyday people go through and talk, like, that people probably would not want to sit there and talk about out loud and just want to keep them private or anything like that. It's really good conversations if y'all have not tapped into it. So make sure y'all do. Make sure y'all do. Oh man, anything else?
No, I appreciate you.
Oh yeah,
for having me. You know, definitely. This is my first time being an actual podcast studio.
Yeah.
Because I do my stuff from home and it's online. You know, so it's a different vibe. But I'm liking it.
I'm only
blessed
to be able to be here.
I think I'm gonna have to build me one of these in the
I'm
basement.
telling you. When I first saw the studio, when they were on the 18th floor, I was like, yep. I want something like this. Not even personally. Like I want to create like and I'm gonna say it on red. Like I want like a warehouse type thing where you got the podcasting space on one side. You got maybe on the other side you got people want to do like music recording studio stuff on that side. And you got like the photography and maybe you can renovate it to like a conference type thing. You can put chairs and seminar, stuff like that. So. This there's nothing like this that I've seen in the Metroplex, and man, it's just cool to have. I'm working on once I get a bigger place, just kind of have something, kind of what's this? I forget his podcast name. Dear Son Podcast.
Yeah,
I know he has a little setup in. I believe that's his house or something like that. But he has a nice little setup.
Yeah, I was trying to get in contact. You know.
He is here. He is here in Dallas too, and I haven't linked up with him. I gotta link up.
Derek John. I think that's Derek's name. Derek.
I know his name is Derek. Okay.
Yeah, John. I know John is the last name.
Okay.
So between the two of us, I think that's it.
Yeah, we just link them up together.
But definitely shout out to the Dear Son podcast. I definitely support it. I definitely watch it too, man.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody ever watched it, I'm gonna give him a shout out. He usually have guys on, but for Women's Month, he had a couple women on.
Okay.
You know that they talked about their stories and definitely amazing conversations.
Beautiful.
Amazing conversations.
Beautiful. You talking about the Dear Son podcast?
Yep.
Oh, I know which one you're talking. I know the two.
I think his wife was the first female guest, and then he had like 3 or 4 other female guests on.
Yeah.
They was awesome.
Gotta get some different.
The guys is good too.
Gotta get different perspectives on there. Gotta get this different perspectives. So yeah, I love that. Well, man, this is all I got for y'all today. Like I said, make sure y'all tap in. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe down there. You know what I'm saying? And make sure you follow everything the Super Drake Podcast is doing. We on every platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you listen to the podcast. We on YouTube. We're trying to get the subscribers up too. Instagram, we're on Instagram, Super Drake Podcast. Super Drake Podcast. You see it right here. So make sure you tap in. But without further ado, we out of here. Peace.